guys, happy Valentine's Day. So I wanted to give you guys my top 10 most romantic shoujo manga. So contrary to popular belief, there will not be all dark-haired guys as the love interest. There are a few blondes in there, and one of them you might actually be able to guess. It's like a given for any top 10 shoujo list. But let's go ahead and get started. So number 10 is Eme Doki. Eme Doki is about a girl named Tampopo who goes to school the day before her classes are supposed to begin, and she crashes her bike into a boy, and he is planting a dandelion, and so he kind of is really sweet to her and he bandages up her leg, and so she doesn't catch his name and she leaves. So the next day she looks for him at school and she sees him, but he kind of shuns her, and his name turns out to be Koki, and he's kind of like an upper class rich kid, and he does not have the time of day for her, and neither do her other classmates. So she kind of doesn't give up, and she announces in front of the whole school that she's gonna be his friend. After a lot of struggling, he finally kind of sees that she's a nice person, and she kind of wins him over, and of course they become friends, and then eventually of course they get together after a bunch of stuff happens. So yeah, I definitely think this is a really cute shoujo manga, but it's a really cute story and it has a good moral, and I would definitely recommend that one. So of course number 9 is Ouran High School Host Club. That had to make the list. So Ouran High School Host Club is of course about Haruhi, who is an elite school, but she only got there because of a scholarship. And after a bunch of stuff happening, she is in debt to some of the rich kids for breaking a very expensive vase, and she has to work as a male host to the female clients at the school. So she's part of the host club at the school, and it's like a reverse harem. So there's like a bunch of boys and she's like the only girl love interest for all of them. And the reason why this is on the list is of course Tamaki and Haruhi. I mean, Tamaki is just like so clueless but sweet and nice, and Haruhi's, completely deadpan personality. The two of them just make an adorable couple, and it's really cute when as they grow as characters and Tamaki starts to realize what it is that he actually loves about Haruhi, and it's just, the ending is just so cute in this manga. So I don't know if you've only watched the anime, you haven't read the manga, but I definitely recommend finishing the manga. It's very sweet and romantic. And number 8 is Hana Kimi. It's about a girl who pretty much stalks her favorite celebrity high jumper to his school, and she pretends to be a boy so she can be near him. And at first he's like really turned off because he thinks like she's coming on to him and he thinks she's a boy, and then he kind of finds out that she's a girl, and so then he just thinks it's a really weird girl, and eventually she starts to win him over with her personality, and they eventually fall in love. And I would definitely recommend this one, but I think I mostly like it because I think Sano is so cute. I even bought the art book. He looks like a male model. He's adorable. But yes, no, it's a really cute love story, and I think he's very sweet to her and she's very nice and sweet to him. So yes, it's every stalker girl's dream to have their favorite celebrity fall in love with them. So number 7, I'm totally going to butcher, but it's something like Oju-sama no Untenshu, but it's based in like the early 1900s in Japan. And it's about a girl who is the envy of all the other girls. She wears a little crimson ribbon in her hair to signify that she is the top girl in the class. But she is very kind and sweet, and she's very skilled at sewing, and just all the other girls love her. And then she has a chauffeur who's like the complete opposite of her. He's always like unbuttoned with his shirt, and he's never in his proper uniform wearing his hat, and he's always eating candy while on duty. But she kind of likes that about him. And the two of them are just really cute together, but unfortunately he's the chauffeur and she's like, a rich girl with a future, so you can't really, get together. And it's just like, it's just so romantic because he wants to touch her and he can't touch her, and so he always touches her through his gloves. And it's just like, eventually he does get to remove his gloves and he touches her, and you're just like, oh my gosh, it's that moment. He finally gets to do it. So yeah, this one's really romantic, and it's just so cute with her like prim and properness and his like totally lazy attitude towards life and everything. They're really cute together, and I think it is really romantic, and I definitely recommend this manga. Number 6 is Kaita wa Maid-sama. It is about Misaki, who has worked hard to uphold the moral image of herself and to get her school back into a stricter atmosphere, because before that it was like out of control. And she is actually the first student council president who is a female, so she is just like trying really hard to be the best of the best. Well, she actually secretly works as a maid in a maid cafe because her family is very poor. And she's kept the secret for quite a while until Usui, sorry if I butchered his name, is one of the most popular boys in the school, and he kind of finds out about her being a maid, and instead of telling the other kids in the school, he kind of treasures this moment for himself and he becomes a regular at the cafe. So it's cute just to see him, like, she like overreacts to everything and just like, oh my gosh, get out of here, and he's just kind of like has a cool personality. But of course they eventually get together and their personalities play each other off really well, and I think it's a really cute manga, so I definitely recommend it. Okay, so number 5 is very complicated and kind of strange, but the plotline is so intriguing and the romance plot is so good that I had to keep reading it, and it was well worth the wait. So number 5 is Yukarism, and it is about a boy named Yukari who is a renowned author at the age of 17, and he writes about historical Japan, and everything he writes is extremely accurate, and he doesn't have to do any of research for this. And people are wondering why this is. Well, he is actually getting flashbacks of his past life as a courtesan named Yumuro Saki. I'm sorry if I didn't pronounce that right, but Yumuro Saki was a very high-class and famous courtesan in early Japan, and she was very kind to all of her customers, and she would always say she loved everyone. So he has flashbacks of that, and it kind of plays into his personality in the present time. So he's kind of a little bit effeminate, and some of the guys kind of pick up on that. And then he starts to realize that some of the people in his life are actually people he knew in his past life. So it comes out that one of the girls in his class, Mahoro, I'm sorry if I didn't pronounce that right. So Mahoro was actually one of Yumuro Saki's clients as a courtesan, and she is actually known as a man named Takamura, and they were, you know, in love, of course, but Takamura was always upset because Yumuro Saki would never say that he was the only one for him, or like really say that, you know, she was truly in love with him. So he was always like angsty about that. As the story progresses, it comes out that Yumuro Saki was actually murdered, and Takamura actually cast a spell to entwine their fates together so that he could protect her in the next life. So I thought that plotline was really good. As the story progresses, Takamura realizes he needs to cut the thread that binds them together because Yukari is getting too many flashbacks from his past life, and it's actually going to kill him in his present life. I'm not sure if I misread it, but his thoughts in his memories in his past life was going to kill him in the present. So Mahoro, as Takamura, breaks the bond between them, and she's kind of upset about this because he will forget all of his memories about her, and only she can remember this. So at the end, Mahoro is like sitting in class as an outsider, and Yukari is back to being manly and popular with girls, and, you know, very popular in his school. And he comes up to her and starts talking, and she realizes he still remembers their past life, and she's like, what? I cut this thread. He actually wrote his memories down before he forgot them so that he could remember her over and over again. So Mahoro can see a thread formed between her and Yukari, and she's like, why is there still a thread? I cut that thread. And then she realizes it was a new thread that was formed, and Yukari asks her out, and they want to start over again, and it is just so cute. So yeah, I think it is, and so it's cute because this time Yukari is being forward with Mahoro, when in their past lives Mahoro, who was Takamura, was forward with Yu Murasaki. So yeah, it's very cute. It's very complicated, but I definitely recommend that one. It was very interesting and a good read, and it was so romantic at the end. I kind of cried. But yes, so that was number 5. So number 4 is Kamikaze Kai Taji, and this is one of my favorite mangas of all time, just one of my favorites. It's about a high school girl named Marin who can transform into Kai Taijin, and she does work for God by taking demons, exorcising demons out of paintings, along with the help of her sidekick, Angel in Training, Finn. And so she's been doing this for a while, doing work for God, and she suddenly gets challenged by another Kaitao named Sinbad, and she kind of has to fight against him because she thinks he's evil or whatever. And of course, at the same time, a new boy appears at Marin's school, and his name is Chiaki. So at first Marin liked Chiaki because she thought he was good looking, but he actually is kind of like, acts like a player in front of her, so she didn't like him. But as the story progresses, Chiaki starts finding out that Marin is alone, her parents are divorced, and she lives by herself in an apartment. So he leaves her little notes of encouragement in her mailbox because he is actually Sinbad, and he's trying to get closer to Jean. But as Chiaki is doing this, he actually starts falling in love with Marin because Marin is just like so grateful for the letters because she's very lonely. And so it comes out that Jean's angel sidekick Finn is actually working for the devil, and Jean had not been doing work for God. She was actually doing work for Satan. So this was put in place by Finn because she was trying to make Marin weaker and weaker, and it comes out that the whole plot line with Marin's parents getting a divorce was actually the devil's work and making them hate each other when they actually liked each other. But the devil is trying to ruin Marin's life to make her weak and to take out God's power from her, because God put like a third of his power in Jean. The story is really complicated, but he put a third of his power in Jean because he loved her. And so Chiaki has to be like her cornerstone and has to try and comfort her. And the plot, it really isn't completely about the romance plot because it comes out that Marin has to find her own strength from within her. But Chiaki is there for her, and I think he turns out to be a really sweet love interest. And so they're one of my favorite romantic couples. So yeah, I definitely recommend Kamikaze Kai Taji. I'm sorry if I butchered the plot. It's really good. I recommend it. Number 3 is Meru Puri, but it is about a girl named Eri who is a high school girl, and her dream is to be married with a family and living in a cozy house. And one day she drops her family heirloom mirror, and a boy comes out of it, and she didn't quite see him come out of it. She just heard a boy say, "Did you drop this?" And she kind of turns around and she's like, "Yeah, that's mine." And she thinks he's very strange because he's in this weird garb, but she doesn't want to leave him by himself because he kind of looked lost. So she takes the little boy back to her house, and it comes out his name is Aaron, and he's very strange. He acts very kind of pompous and very overly familiar with her. And so she kind of feeds him, takes care of him, and then they go to sleep at night. And once the darkness falls, Aram actually transforms into a grown, like a 17-year-old man or boy instead of being a little boy. And she starts freaking out, and he's like still a child on the inside, but he's an adult on the outside, and she starts to figure out. And then another person comes out from the mirror, and it's like the person that the boy was waiting for. He's kind of like his servant, and the servant tells Eri that there's actually a curse placed on Aram, and he is actually a prince from another kingdom, and his brother Giel placed a curse on him that causes him to become a kind of man at night, and then with a maiden's kiss he can transform back into a little boy. And Aram says that he wants Eri to give him the maiden's kiss, but she doesn't want to give him the maiden's kiss. But eventually she's like, feels bad for him because if Aram keeps aging, he's just going to get old and old and old because of this curse. So she does kiss him on the cheek, and he turns back into a little boy, which is just so cute because Aram's love is just so pure and innocent towards Eri, and you know, Eri's just like, what the heck, you're just a little boy. And It's the whole plot line is very cute, just to see how awkward it is when she has to deal with a man with a little boy on the inside. It's very weird. Don't look into it. Okay, it's just a very cute plot line. But anyways, so as the time progresses, she actually gets transported to the magical world with Eren, and the people in the magical world realize Eri is the descendant of a traitor in their kingdom. So they, want to like arrest her and seize her or whatever. So Eren has to save Eri by vowing to marry her. So they exchange their seals or whatever. And so as the time progresses, as time goes on, of course, he grows up and she grows up and they get married, and it is very cute. I definitely recommend this. Number 2 is, of course, Sailor Moon, and I don't know if I should even say the plot, but I'm going to anyways. So Usagi is a normal high school girl who runs into a kitty named Luna, and Luna tells her that she is actually a Sailor Scout and gives her magical powers, and she can transform into Sailor Moon. So the reason why I chose Sailor Moon is, of course, because of Sailor Moon and Tuxedo Mask. Tuxedo Mask is a character that shows up and saves Sailor Moon in the nick of time whenever she needs help, or sometimes Tuxedo Mask needs to be saved. So Sailor Moon is actually the reincarnation of Princess Serenity, and Tuxedo Mask is the reincarnation of Prince Endymion. And Prince Endymion and Princess Serenity were actually lovers in a past life, and through a matter of circumstances, Prince Endymion had to save Princess Serenity and sacrifice his life, and Princess Serenity could not live on without Prince Endymion, so she killed herself because she could not live without him. And of course, they are reincarnated, and in the present, they are Sailor Moon and Tuxedo Mask. And I think that is so romantic that they meet again and they fall in love again, and just the fact that two people can fall in love over and over again. I just love that idea and concept. So of course, Sailor Moon is on this list. And besides, I'm so jealous of Usagi with Mamoru. He is just so handsome. So yes. And number 1 is Saint Tail. Saint Tail is about a Catholic schoolgirl named Mei, who at night transforms into the mysterious thief Saint Tail. And Saint Tail steals treasures back from people that were stolen from them and gives it back to its original owner. And there's a boy named Oscar Jr. who goes to Mei's Catholic school, and he is the son of a famous police detective. And he vows to capture Saint Tail. Like, Oscar Jr.'s number 1 goal is to capture Saint Tail. That's all he talks about at school. That's all he thinks about. So, Mei kind of argues with him at school, and then she teases him at night as Saint Tail. But as Oscar Jr. tries to capture Saint Tail, he starts to realize that she is actually not stealing for herself. She's stealing for others. So as that's happening at school, Oscar Jr. starts falling in love with Mei, because he kind of starts seeing the things he loves in Saint Tail in Mei. But he doesn't know that they're the same person. So as Oscar Jr. starts to notice that Mei is like Saint Tail, he actually asks her out on a date, and they start dating. Well, as the story progresses, it comes out that Mei's mother was actually a thief when she was younger, and she actually stole for herself instead of giving to others. So she made an enemy, like a rival, and the rival wants to get revenge on Saint Tail, so the rival kidnaps Oscar Jr., and the final treasure that Saint Tail has to steal back is Oscar Jr. So as the story progresses, Saint Tail's able to save Oscar Jr., and she they have to jump out of a building, so she puts balloons down for Oscar Jr. to fall on. Well, Mei can't save herself, and what she's holding on to, she slips, and she falls from this high place. And Oscar Jr. reaches out and catches her, and it's like he finally caught her, and she starts apologizing because she feels so bad that she was Saint Tail and she tricked him. And he's just kind of like, I'm sorry I didn't notice it sooner. It all works out, and they get together in the end. And it is just so cute because at the very end, he comes to her with a ring as she's in the church. And it's just very cute. This manga, to me, it's the definition of shoujo manga, because It's just so sweet and innocent, and it's meant for younger girls, and it's such a pure romantic story that I absolutely love it. So thank you guys so much for watching my top 10 most romantic shoujo manga. If you have a top 10 list, let me know in the comments below, or let me know if you've read any of the ones that I mentioned. I'd love to talk to you guys about it. If you like this video, please like and also subscribe if you haven't subscribed. And if you'd like to see more videos of me talking about my favorite manga, like favorite cute manga or favorite shonen manga, let me know and I will definitely make videos for that. Anyways, I hope you guys have a sweet day. Happy Valentine's Day. Bye!